If you don't already own property in America, you may never. This house in San Jose just sold for $1.5 million. No driveway, roof rotting, barely livable. But here's the part that should terrify you. This is not an anomaly. In 2025 alone, 47 similar properties sold for over $1 million. A decade ago, this shed cost $350,000. Today, bidding wars push RECs to seven-figure prices. In early 2026, homeownership did not just get expensive, it became mathematically impossible. This is the dark side of the 2026 housing crisis. San Jose is now the most unaffordable major housing market in the United States. The median home price? $1.37 million. To buy that responsibly, a household needs to earn roughly $450,000 per year. The actual median household income? About $135,000. The average earner in San Jose can afford only 27.3% of a typical home. Engineers earning six-figure salaries, nurses, teachers. The people building the world's most valuable technology can't afford shelter in their own city. Recently, a burnout shell sold for $1.1 million in cash. Not to a family, to an investment firm. This isn't luxury pricing, this is structural exclusion. But maybe you're thinking, fine, don't live in Silicon Valley, move somewhere cheaper. That's exactly what thousands tried. Earlier this year, Hartford, Connecticut was named the hottest housing market in America. Median price was $384,000. Compared to California, it looked like salvation. So families moved, remote workers, young couples, middle-income earners trying to reset. But here's what they found. Inventory had collapsed by 63% compared to pre-pandemic levels. The worst shortage of any major U.S. metro. Over 66% of properties sold above asking price, higher than San Jose's 55%. Homes disappeared in 7 days. Hartford wasn't affordable. It was just less impossible. A 32-year-old engineer earning $180,000 moved from California thinking he finally had a shot. 6 rejected offers. On the 7th house, he bid $40,000 over asking, and he waived inspection. He still lost to an all-cash investor. He earns more than 90% of Americans, and he still can't buy. So why don't we just build more homes? Because for 25 years, America quietly stopped building enough. In 2025, only 170,000 new dwellings were completed across major metros, while demand from remote workers spiked by nearly double that amount. We're solving a 2026 crisis with 1970s supply. In California, housing development approval averages over 400 days. Compare that to Texas, where approvals take less than 2 weeks. In Hartford, construction is at a 10-year low. March 2024 saw the lowest housing permits issued since 2012. These are not high-rises. These are single-family homes being blocked by zoning boards. Scarcity is not a glitch. It is the system. Existing homeowners benefit from limited supply. Their property values rise, but everyone else gets locked out. If you can't buy, you rent. Except rent now looks like a mortgage, and you build someone else's wealth. In San Jose, median rent is $3,800 per month. In Hartford, median rent is $2,400 per month. People are paying 2026 prices, with wages frozen since 2011. Rental listings receive dozens of applications. People offer 6 months up front just to compete. They are not fighting for luxury. They are fighting for stability. Homeownership rates for Americans under 35 have fallen by 25%. Meanwhile, those who bought in the 1990s saw massive appreciation. A $200,000 house back then might now be worth $1.2 million. Here is the uncomfortable truth. They did not work harder, they bought earlier. The difference between a homeowner and a renter in 2026 is not discipline, it is timing. Here is what most people do not understand. This crisis is not an accident. In Hartford, nearly 40% of home purchases in 2025 were made by investors, not families. In San Jose, that number climbs even higher. Corporate buyers, private equity, institutional landlords. Housing is no longer just shelter, it is an asset class. Tax structures reward speculation through 1031 exchanges that defer capital gains indefinitely. The mortgage interest deduction disproportionately benefits wealthy investors. Compare this to Denmark or Singapore, where strict policies limit investor ownership and prioritize residents. America chose differently. We protect asset growth, not housing access. In the 1970s, homes cost 2 to 3 times annual income. In San Jose today, 10 times income. In Hartford, 5 times income. That gap used to be manageable. Now it's generational. In 2026, being in the top 10% of earners still isn't enough to buy a starter home in most major metros. Without family wealth or inheritance, entry becomes nearly impossible. For the first time in modern history, a generation will be worse off than their parents in housing security. Not because they're lazy, because the ladder moved. San Jose represents the impossible ceiling. Hartford represents the shrinking escape route. One shows the extreme, the other shows the trend. And here is the uncomfortable question. If owning is mathematically impossible and renting keeps rising, what happens when even affordable cities run out? Because they are. Homeownership isn't just expensive, it's a gate. And the gate is closing. The American dream didn't collapse overnight. It was priced upward, year after year, until entry quietly disappeared. For millions of Americans, homeownership is already impossible. The real question is, which side of the gate will you be on when it locks?